Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. Great article here from the Mobile Report. I'll leave a link to it in the description so you guys can check it out. So AT&T has a lot of work left to do. So yes, AT&T is not happy about T-Mobile sticking their nose into the first responders business. But on the other end, AT&T still has a lot of work to do on the FirstNet side. They aren't even fully built out and completed to the extent that they want to get to, right? There have been a lot of agencies that have moved back to Verizon because FirstNet did not fully meet their needs. So before AT&T says anything publicly, right, in a response or indirectly, they have to fix the issues that they have first. And yes, AT&T has been speaking up more publicly about issues. Some people have called them crybabies. Right? They always complain about the spectrum situation and they need more spectrum, right? Well, how about you deploy the spectrum you have first? They haven't even gotten that to a really high scale. Once they get all of that C-band and DoD out there, then let's have that conversation. There's a good amount of pops where they don't even have DoD deployed. Dallas, for an example, Dallas, Texas, that is a large market in terms of market share for AT&T. There are a lot of sites. I speak with several people that are in that area. They're testing. They travel. There are a lot of sites without DoD. And that was the same, I believe, in New York City and the boroughs. They deployed mostly C-band. I've heard in Chicago and in some of those suburban areas around, they mostly deployed C-band. So let's deploy all of the spectrum, licensed spectrum that you purchased first before we start throwing blame and pushing out a certain narrative. Let's deploy that first. That would be my message. Now, yes, AT&T has every right to be upset or not happy about T-Mobile sticking their nose into the first responders business. They have every right. But it's a competitive business. And T-Mobile now feels like they have the network to compete there. I mean, yes, T-Mobile has their issues. They have their problems. You know, they still have a lot of stuff to deploy and network to scale, right? But let's compete, right? Instead of just complaining like what AT&T is doing, compete. Use this, what T-Mobile did, use that as motivation and figure out ideas and ways to compete back. Right? If T-Priority is taking certain agencies from you, figure out a way how to get them back. Maybe it's better indoor solutions, more DAS systems. Maybe it's a more robust densification build. Whatever it is, figure it out. Don't just run to your blogs and put out these types of internal memos. Figure it out. Compete back. Right? We can't just complain every single time we have an issue with something. Are there certain situations where you should complain and if it's very apparent, then yes, you should complain, you should voice your opinion, you should make it let it be known. Like, right, with the FCC thing and the interference, right, for the C-band. That was an obvious situation that they should have complained. And they did, right? But not about every little thing. And that's been AT&T all the way, right? Verizon hasn't even complained nearly as much. Verizon just, they went into the meetings and they figured it out, right? They're still figuring it out. They introduced my plan. They're making changes, structure changes, go-to-market changes, rebrand. All of that is happening. They're not pushing out articles or we're not happy with T-Priority. I didn't see that from T-Mobile. I mean, from Verizon. Verizon will just say we have the best network for first responders, and we have the best assets to deploy for Verizon Frontline. They will compete that way, right? You just can't keep complaining. And I think that's AT&T's problem right now. You can say internally, I have a problem with this because of this reason, that reason. But to keep complaining, it's just not going to work all the time, right? There's going to be some issues that you can complain and you might get it reversed, like some of the marketing, right? Some of the stuff that they got done with the National Marketing Division and NDA, something like that. They got some of the stuff reversed that T-Mobile was pushing, right? So you have to kind of choose your battles wisely, right? Some you win, some you don't. But every time, that's just, especially when AT&T still has a lot of work to do. They still have a lot of mid-band to deploy, and they still have coverage to build out. They're not perfect everywhere. No carrier is. So that's just my take. AT&T still has a lot of work to do when it comes to FirstNet. I saw a lot of your guys' comments saying that you tried FirstNet or AT&T's not ready to handle that. They've had outages this year that are very questionable. So they still have a lot of work to do to become even more reliable again, to build additional densification where capacity is in question, even for band 14. So still a lot of work to do. And they still have work to do, right? Don't forget, they still have the work to do to try and get that 4.9. That's going to require some work, some doing, some additional paperwork and stuff to get that going. And I'm not saying that they should get it. I'm just saying if they want it, they really have to pursue it, right? They really have to go after it with the FCC and state their reasoning. And this is where they could use this, like I said, motivation. Use this T-Mobile T priority and say, look, this is what they stated. This is the slicing that they're using with their mid-band. They're claiming faster speeds than our first responders network, which is obviously true because it's only a 10 by 10 slice on band 14. That's not going to produce 500-600 megabits. Use this as your reason why you should get 4.9. So like I said, use this as fuel and motivation, right? This T-Mobile and T priority and what they said on that stage, and use that to your advantage. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe if you're new. Follow my social media outlets. This is Tyrone with Tech Life, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.